mighty top of the hour, 2 minutes away, waiting for the markets to open around the world. A nice buying opportunity here on the euro versus the dollar, the most manipulated currency on the planet. And this thing's actually making money. Now, this robot, I'm running two versions of it on the euro dollar. I have a 5 pip grid and I have a 10 pip grid thing. And I'm forcing it to trade a lot. I want it to overtrade, actually, because it's got a I don't know how it's getting out of the trades. I guess it gets to a certain profit level. Notice there's no stops or take profits on this thing. And it's doing something I would never do, and that's buy a 6K in the euro dollar. I mean, the dollar yen. I would never take that trade. So yeah, if you know what's going on in these markets, another way to trade this robot is to say that the robot's going to do something like buy this plunge, which it beautifully did on both this euro and the yen. Now, for a moment, we were actually up $200. I've only been running this thing for a couple days now. It really is going to be one of these things where you could out trade it if you're good at trading. If you're good at placing orders at logical places on the chart and putting a denser orders where you know their scalpers are going to do their scalps and the long-term guys are going to get in, and it's also because of the time of day. So this is 5 o'clock in the morning. Now 5 minutes after 5 o'clock in the morning, the 5-minute traders are going to come in, or their algos are going to come in here now. In the 15-minute and the 30-minute chart, look at the 15-minute chart, you've got to really be on it, right? There's a trade every hour and a half. On the 30-minute chart, there will only be a trade every 2 hours, a double bottom, which is just nothing but a retest or loss of momentum. You're going to, in my system, I'm going to put a trade on that I go, you know what? I know I can make 10 pips here. The other one's like, you know what? I'm not in this trade yet. So now I have to figure, how am I going to, it's like jump rope. Where are you going to get in? You can't just stand in front of the jump rope. You know, you just can't. You've got to look at it and time it and then say, for that, and of course now, the problem there is the market's moving so violently. Look at the sell-off here in this euro. So I bought this myself, kind of the same style this thing just did. And I could say, you know, when this thing retraces to X, I'm just getting out of all the profits here. And I could just click on this right now. I could intervene if we go up about 20 pips, because it's probably going to tank again. But I don't have another robot to turn on to say, come on at 2 pips. Now that would be really sweet if you had 20 screens open of just the euro dollar. And this is now you're managing like a euro prop house, a virtual prop house of a bunch of goober traders. So if this thing trades like your average idiot, then it's pretty good, right? And this is how people have factories and shit in prop firms, because they have a bunch of goobers like, oh, hey, Joe, how you doing? Yeah, what's your and there's a guy that's the soloist, right? There's either the guy in the band who's like, okay, Don Henley, you know, does he need the Eagles? Does Phil Collins need Genesis? Like, you know, nobody else in the band, Rutherford, but actually Paul Carrack's better than Rutherford. So all these things go out, and nature finds a way. So I think people are going to go back to work, but not the same job. And I think people have probably been bartering or whatever. Unfortunately, for the people that think there's a conspiracy, well, you can't really conspire against nature, because nature finds a way. There's a weed growing through the sidewalk for a reason, and people are just like, you know what? I don't need to do that anymore, maybe. And they're like, you know, so I bailed on Starbucks because we broke up. They quit. They closed all their drive-throughs, so I went to Tim Hortons, and it tastes better. It's cheaper, it tastes better, and the people aren't all like dolled up. No offense, but not a lot of pretty people at the Tim Hortons. Maybe you get lucky. Of course, I don't know. Starbucks. They're all dressed in Starbucks clothes. But you knew that was going to end. You know, when I saw them remodeling Starbucks, I go, you know what? How about just make cheaper coffee that's better fucking tasting than this shit? But, you know, they have to get it looking like you're in a fucking movie when you go in there. There you go. I thought I could just be calm. Man, people say, you know, I think the market analysis is okay, but you just can't be saying fuck this, fuck that. But I don't know. Watching these people it's just amazing. These decrees and these people just thinking they're going to try to manage nature. It's so cute. You know, just because you can just because you can put alert on my cell phone doesn't mean that I'm going to acknowledge that. When you knock on my door, it's the old days knocking on the door, so it's digital knock. And okay, here's 5 minutes after the top of the hour. Here comes the 5-minute traders. And the patterns you see on the half hour, you're like, that is a fucking that's a doji. Like, look at this collapse here. I was watching the Sam Seidel. Yeah, he's got to set up his ass. You know, he doesn't have to trade for a living. He's got dumb shit like, but I'm just saying there are people that could take his system and just follow it. And as long as they have money management tools, only risk this much of the account. I mean, it's going to take you a lot of work to blow up the account, right? So if you're going to go high-speed driving, you know, you're going to have to be very careful about everything on the car, the brakes, that would be like stops, the ability to turn, the car reversals, you know, low-profile tires, ECN broker, fast, all that stuff, right? So that's your lifestyle. You're a scalper. You're I suppose a swing trader on the daily charts. It closes down hard. It's up hard. Like, so you could have sold the fucking euro yesterday just because it was up. You know, you could trade this thing so many fucking ways. I could go to the 4-hour chart and show you that if you just waited, and this may be a painful concept, but if you waited for this little baby 4-hour bar and you put on a dumb shit, just the dumbest, like my ATR bot would have executed on that and would have totally milked that to pieces. I mean, it's no brainer. Like, let's face it. Do you need to back test that? I mean, dude, you know that trade plan. You got to wait for the setup. So if you see a small bar and you put a buy stop and a sell stop, yeah, you didn't make a ton of money, and then you put the same trade on, and then you put the same trade on, but they fill you on two to the south. And yeah, you make a little bit of money, but then they stop hunted you. So that strategy doesn't work. Well, I think this is a little different up here. Once you made it above this wickety dick, there was people selling up there. You must have known that. Oh, you know how that works, right? There's buyers down here. This is the Sam side. But the problem with this fucking Sam is that I watch this video, like, well, people are asking, well, look, you got Bollinger Bands on some harebrained Bollinger Bands, and he's talking about, well, pierces through the Bollinger Band and it goes through structure. Dude, you only need one criteria. I know it's hard, but see, I'm trading not like this robot, although I'm about ready to let this robot chow on $1,000 account, but I still think I'm going to run the demo in concert, and I would run two of these, and I would say, let me have one where I'm going to take profits when I think, oh, you know what, you're doing good on this, buddy, on the grid strategy. The breakout systems could have come in here last night, and this is the idea that you got a guy that does breakouts in your prop house, and he does this, and he just puts a trailing buy stop sell stop. It is different because you're above this, and I would totally buy this plunge just like this robot. I agree with the robot, but that may not always be a good thing, right? Because then you're just duplicating your stupid trading, so to speak. Like if you're fucking up, you know, that's what I did originally, is that I just made more money trading without stops than when I wrote my first scripts that I had buy limits here all the way down with a stop down here, and it would just blow up the account. But I thought, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I put a stop on it. but since I have no math skills, and I didn't even realize that the euro versus the yen, when it would move twice as hard as the euro versus the dollar, or 3 times as hard. I couldn't figure out why I was making so much money, losing so much money, and I just knew that I wanted to buy low and sell high. Especially, I knew that was how I made a lot of money. What happened here is that if I was trading without stops and I got to here and I kept buying, well, I couldn't buy anymore because the brokers said, well, you know what, you ran out of free margin. And then it came smashing back to here, and I'd made like 3 times my money. And then I would just, I didn't even trade with limits there. And I just looked for a market to buy. I would just go to the next currency. Like if this is this looked like, hey, I'll just buy this. And the only scanning I would do would be like go to currency. Is anything getting smashed that I could buy? So it's a very crude system, and able to flip many accounts. And then I said, well, God, I can't believe I can put limit orders. And then when I did that one time, I just put a manual limit in, and they filled me really hard on the euro versus yen, and I was up like $83 on a 3K or something. Some crazy fucking trade. I don't know what was going on, but I knew there was so much volatility in the market, and I just thought, well, I'm just going to throw these tickets in down there. And I think it was one ticket. I think I just put a 3K, a solid 3K or something. At that time I was trading 3Ks at the market, and I'd just be like, oh, I'm up like $20 in a half an hour, or just dump it out, get back in. And then I'd try to build a position without stops, the account's a stop. And so if I blew up the account, I just put $200 in there or $300 in there, but then I could take the account to $5,000. And this is all predicated on trying to kind of have another place to go. I notice these people that I've been watching all these news reports where Trump brings in his team, and they brought this guy in one day, like 4 days ago, and he said, here's a map, and I don't know how much this map cost. Here's a map of everybody we've rescued from overseas. I'm like, what the fuck are they coming back here for? Oh, man. Stay where you're at. I know ventilators there, but ventilators. They get like 50 grand a piece. Do people even realize how much money the government blew on ventilators? But, it's American jobs. So the thing is that, yeah, you could take money out of one pocket and put it in the other, and I guess people are afraid of that. But, dude, we live in a Star Trek world of digital currency. It doesn't fucking matter. They got bitcoins. You got toilet paper. People are probably going short toilet paper like you can't believe. It is crazy. But, yeah, if you're able to, you got to do the math. So I did the math on this. The crudest thing I could think of is, let's say you have a $100 account. You got $100 in your trading account, and your leverage is 1,000 to 1. So you got $100 in there. Make it official here. $100, and you're going to risk. You got to put a 50 pip stop on each 1K. So how many trades can you put on before you blow up the account? 20 trades, right? Because it's going to be $50 for a 10K. So you have 10 bullets, and you're going to actually only make 30 pips. You risk 50 to make 30. Bad ratio. But if you're right 80% of the time, and you're kind of doing it by a risk analysis per trigger pull. So this allows you to have ultimate flexibility, because you can say, well, I'll buy one at the market here with a 50 pip stop, and I'll put a buy limit here with a 50 pip stop. And yeah, they could keep on taking me out. And that's when you'd realize you want to cluster everything. Like, you want to have your scalps in this notch on the 4-hour chart. And here you'd have a bigger ticket, but woven in here, you need to have first your scalp, your intermediate trade, and then your giant swing trade. So here's a market trigger pull right now. It's 15-minute traders are coming in. Look at the 15-minute chart, and you should have been long if you're buying every 15 minutes it's down. So, you really got to be on your toes to make a lot of money. You got to like not sleep. You got to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And also, if you're going to do a trigger pull, no limits. So I'm switching gears to another. And so that's probably what's confusing is I keep switching gears of like, okay, here's the breakout trade up here. So there's three kinds of trades. The goober trade, and you're looking for a low volatility bar to place your breakouts. I don't think that, even though you could claim to me, you could say stuff like, yeah, but, and this is the problem with rules, is that if you apply them the wrong way, like you can't buy dildos because it's not a necessity. Who says? So here is, a critical place. Having a basket of tickets in here, having a whole area filled in, that's going to take some work, right? Not too much, but you could manually just right mouse click here and drop these in. Right mouse click, and it's going to come up with a limit with no stop. So take any demo account and just put in limits, and a lot of people won't do that because they say, yeah, but is this a 618? Would I buy that? Well, no, it's a stop hunt, so to speak, of this guy's stop. Somebody has stop here. I mean, it's a stop hunt for that one guy, not the whole world. The whole world's not that stupid. Well, I mean, you're kind of making money from people losing their minds here. This 4 hours down like this. Take a look at the 15. You should have bought at top of the hour. At 5 o'clock in the morning, you should have bought the euro. It's so cliche, too. People expecting some mystical fucking conspiracy, man. It's not there. You could have bought it right here, but I bought it down here. See, I bought it because it closed down on the 15. I bought the market there, and I had limits here. This robot is doing what I'm doing on my limits, but I'm trading at the market around it because I can see, I could probably make 8 pips here. If I bought here with another thing is I'm buying with a 12 pip stop to make 8 pips. When I buy down here, I buy with a 12 pip stop to make 8 pips on some of the market orders, but not them all. And if I want to build a position down here, I'm going to say, well, say I wanted to buy 100K starting here. I'm going to buy, I'm probably getting filled all the way down. Right, this thing's getting filled in a martingale, so it's the 10K. We're in like about at least 30K here. I don't know if this thing going to take that last ticket off, but we would have taken something off here at the bottom. But I'm also going to have, right now I'd put buy limits in here again, all over again. So regulating the amount of margin I'm using. So if it's a $1,000 account, and I'm going to risk $200 a day with a $1,000 account. It allows me a lot of flexibility, right? I could have 20, I could have crazy arrays in there. I can have 10 pip stops I can have, which is pretty tight. And so is it worth pulling the trigger to risk $1? Would you rather pull the trigger and risk $300 to make $1 million? Most people would say, well, I'll do the $300 trade. There's this guy that was, I was streaming once, and he said, well, I said, how much can you risk per trade? He goes, well, he said something like $380. Like, holy shit. How about $38 10 times? And then people, well, you're only going to make $1,000 risking $38. Why don't you just risk the 380 and make the 10 grand? Because if you slice it down, it's more secure, it's more stable a system. People do that, I mean, you buy something, an amplifier, to get it to the sweet spot. You don't run it so fucking hot. It sounds great, and then it blows up. Like, I'm sure your car's going to go really fast without that oil just before it blows up, just before it seizes. Maybe I don't know if the oil's getting in the way, but yeah, this is just classic Wednesday. Smash down 5 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. We could still go lower, and we could still go sideways, but if you would have pulled the trigger at the top of the hour, you'd see here the 1 hour traders are buying the fact that it keeps smashing down here. But everybody's in on this from a different standpoint. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I bought that at the market because it's down. Now, I did not buy here, but I didn't have to because I had limits that were going all the way down. This is like 10 pips apart, these orders. I got the other one running in the background. Hopefully it's going to be a tighter grid. I told it to do a 5-pip grid, but maybe I made it 50. And we're kind of only up. If I got out now, and this is always the other thing, people would say, well, you know, at the end of the month you're up, but goddamn, I mean, that one day you're down $2,000. Yeah, I know. And of course, the robot here looks like it's got like a. I'm treading water, but I'm gradually growing the account, so it's trading like he guaranteed every day. I like to trade every day because there's plenty of money to be made from. If it's a 24-hour day, there should be a 3-hour. You should be able to hold on to a trade for at least 3 hours or 15 minutes and make at least 10 to 30 pips. Can't be that fucking hard. Now, it could be that hard if you can't perceive if you don't have a trade system. In other words, if you're going to trade at the market all day long, how many times can you pull the trigger? How tight's your stop? How much money is in the account? I'm not looking at percentages. I'm thinking, could I pull the trigger 10 times a day and risk half the account? So, and it would take me probably alarms on your indicators because you're like, hey, alert. You know, and people do put alerts, and I used to do that, but then I just fell asleep to the alert. In fact, I would fall asleep listening to the alert. I go, that sounds nice after a while. It's like, yeah, how's things going? I'm getting used to the beatings. And this the speed of the market is not noticeable if you're not watching it. So if this robot's going to lay in these grids like this, I mean, that's kind of great for that. And you're like, okay, it looks like this thing, market's going sideways, and the robot is up. And just go flat into Asia. Or just go, you could actually close all open and pendings into Asia and say, win, lose, or draw, we're getting out. That's a whole different decision. And that makes a whole different difference because now you're going to hold that for another 24 hours maybe. That makes all the difference in the world. And if you're going to hold it for 2.5 hours as opposed to 10 hours, and it's how long is this thing going to go? And then, of course, as soon as you think about holding it, you think that's okay because you heard this bullshit about let your profits run. You know, without any kind of number attached to that, what do you call profits and what do you call run? And to just talk in these fucking buzz terms is so retarded. It's worse than fucking the government's new phrases. Shelter in place, that's the new normal, I suppose. But we've always had these kind of sirens going off every day, every Sunday, the first of the month on 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And of course, you know, there's nothing more nostalgic than listening to the air raid sirens of World War whatever. Occasional, I mean, I don't know. I guess people want tranquility and everything to go smoothly, but the longer it goes smoothly, the more shocking the shock is, and I think that's people are just freaking out. They think, oh my God, you can actually die from the flu? That's fucking nuts. And there are strains of cancer that are there's a flesh-eating disease. That's a real thing. It's on your flesh, and it just keeps chowing. It's like a hyperbacterian. I mean, was that made in a lab? Is that some designer virus? I'm surprised they don't call it the designer virus. I mean, but people are going to make so much money off this. Get that COVID-19, license plate. Anybody got that one yet? or the I survived COVID-19 T-shirts. I mean, I licked the doorknob and survived the. It's so funny, but it's pretty tragic for people because they've. It's like you got four flat tires all at once. But I'm glad to see people out protesting. I'm not a big protest guy, but people are going to be recalling governors, and this is going to be the threshold. This is going to be the tipping point. I think people are just going to go about their lives, and if people started getting arrested, then there's going to be problems. You can kind of see that coming. It's been a long time since we had a riot, so and the curfews kind of they go hand in hand, and lockdown orders and blah blah blah. But Americans are pretty fucking. They're pretty like accommodating. They're nice people, you know. See, the thing is, the government thinks people are retarded or serial killers because they make a bit, they make money from putting people in jail, I suppose, that are acting up. So that top-down view, and the Bruce Jenner, who works for Michigan, she's her prior gig was, and this should tell you everything you need to know about this Gretchen. What a pretentious fuck. Who names their kid Gretchen? Well, she's a climber, and she worked at Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is an insurance company. Institutional thinking, in the box thinking, fucking complete. Micromanaging dimwit moron. If you hear her speak, I guess we just went off of the trading thing, but listen to her speak. Holy fuck, man. So we've seen all the cliches come out of the woodwork here. It's so cliche. I feel like I'm in the most cheesiest movie. They're gonna ride off into the sunset, and Obama comes out and endorses Biden, who doesn't even know who Obama is anymore. Poor guy. Grandpa Hairy Legs. Grandpa. Oh my God, this guy. What happened to the world? Grandpa Joe. Kids, Grandpa Joe's coming over. Put on your nylon hose. Hide your leg. He's wearing nylons to hide his leg hair. Yeah, they made Joe do a lockdown on his leg hair. He's wearing nylons now. Fucking Joe. I'm gonna buy some more Euro here. I just realized I don't think I bought enough. I have to take a look at the endorsement from him. It's a shoe-in that Trump's going to win, I think. As soon as the 8 years of placid socialism from Obama, not even exciting stuff like this, like I bet he feels really envious that he wasn't able to do a lockdown. Shit, I could have done that after the bear summit. Jesus Christ, people. Okay, I'm scalping out of this thing. So this robot, I started with $5,221 on Sunday night, and if we make it up $500, I'll be like, this robot it's like leaving a few people in charge of the office. They're gonna break some shit, but other than that, we're pretty good. We're gonna make it. I like how this robot's sloppy too. It is silly, and that's the point. It's just putting in a trade that to me is too laborious. I don't know if I got stopped out here. I'm not sure what those arrows mean. I like this trade it's got on here though. I bought that plunge, and I did trade. I changed the time frame to an hour. I don't know if that's making the robot. I think it is making the robot do something because the indicator's built on that time frame, I'm assuming. So I don't know if that's true. I'm going to put some high risk trades on here. So high risk to me is a 100 pip stop. So this Ryan Brown video, high risk trading. That's like 1,000 pip stop. That's yeah. We're gonna risk $100 on this trade, buddy. $100. What's standard line with a 10 pip stop? No. 1,000 pip stop, 1K. Holy fuck. I know I'm gonna cash out in about 5 years. I don't know why people don't do that. Why do people buy? This is what I can't understand. You bought $1,000 bar of gold, or now it's maybe 1,700. You bought 1 ounce of gold, and it cost you $1,700. Dude, you could have bought 3 ounces for like $300 of risk. I mean, you could put wide stops on a three micro lots or nano lots. No, people don't think like that. They don't think that there's probably going to be enough toilet paper. I don't need to go out and buy all the toilet paper, do I? I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but after trading forex, I'm not going. After winning and losing thousands of dollars, I don't think I look at the toilet paper rack and think, oh yeah, gotta gobble this shit up while I'm at it. No. In fact, when I started trading forex, I went to the grocery store and I looked at a whole different view at the checkout aisle. I thought, fuck, for what I spent here for the next week of food, I could have put a $3,000 position on in forex. I could put a 30 pip stop on a fucking trade for what I spent for this fucking junk I bought at the grocery store. And that changed my mind right there. I thought, yeah, that's it. Fucking A, leverage matters. And then they say, well, you're trading with all that margin. People are blowing up their accounts. We got to cut it down. Yeah, I know, because there's same people that are buying that toilet paper off the rack, apparently. If 90% of retail traders lose, 90% of people lose. Where are these people coming from? Is it only the 5? It's probably just the 5% or 10% that's bought more shit than they ever needed. Like this Cuomo guy. I'm going to need 40 million ventilators. Because I heard ventilators is a good thing. What? When did you become a doctor? People are like, even the so-called experts like this Weasel Fauci, who can't fucking, my God, if he was president, we'd all be dead. Okay, guys, now here, don't forget to, 20 seconds, you got a timer to wash your hands. Man, I wish we were, back at the good old days when Trump was making his Trump straws. Remember when straws were the big problem? Like those straws out in the ocean? Well, the turtles are choking on the straws, and you go to fucking Starbucks and then paper straws. Now they're trying to keep up with the latest meme. Latest fucking harebrained buzzword shit. And all these buzzwords, they train all these employees. I don't miss that one fucking bit. Is there anything else I can get you today? Yeah, how about fucking, give me some beer, Fuck this cappuccino. You don't care. Hi. Shut the fuck up. You know I'm in here. No, there's this one Starbucks to go to. Okay, here's another thing. What a piece of shit. Fuck Starbucks. They're big giant fucking, the new Starbucks format, they built more Starbucks than they built fucking ventilators, man. These fuckers. This thing is like, it's a giant warehouse. Concrete floor. It's so loud and echoey. They got these cheap fucking Bonomatic machines grinding fucking beans in front of you. I mean, what's your fucking... They ask, what can I get you today? I'm like, you know what? Why are you asking me this question? I know you don't hear that fucking grinder behind you because you hear it all day and your ears have psychoacoustically put a fucking notch filter in that. But let me ask with you. I'm not going to yell over this grinder machine as you overcharge me for burnt coffee. Now, everybody in the fucking coffee world knows that coffee from Starbucks is worst coffee in the world. It's over roasted. It's just overdone. It's a business. It's not what connoisseurs would consider. We're only going there because of the baristas and the free Wi-Fi and the what else? They've got maybe you could meet somebody there, talk to somebody in the flesh. Of course, you would always run the risk. My whole life, I think ever since I figured out you could get sick from somebody else, I think I was aware if somebody had if somebody's vomiting in front of me, I guess that's what makes other people want to vomit. Like, holy shit, dude, you all right? I had to go outside and rustle something in the wind, and so I thought I had COVID-19 because I was getting so physical out there that I'm actually so sore I can't hardly move. And I got a little windburn, and I thought, oh my God, this must be the signs of COVID. And then my other side of my brain said, well, maybe you do have it, just don't go there mentally, and maybe you won't get it. Like Bruce Lipton style. Just put on some good music. That's the thing. Yeah, that's it. I wish Trump would have come out and been fucking that what's her name? Marianne Williamson, the chick that was running for president. She's like, we just need love. Where the fuck is she? Isn't she cashing in on this shit? Stay at home and meditate. Fuck you. Where's my drummer? Said I want to go to jail trying to jam, play music, so it's like fucking, this is a fucking, wow. We're ready to go up here. So this robot is trading more than one currency. This is another problem. I'm loving this trade here, but yeah, if we retrace here, by the time U.S. markets open, and did you see the stock market? Look at this bitch go. Oh my God. Look at that. But we knew there were sellers up here. Right? All the scalpers have exploited this rooftop, this wick top there, that little notch right there. That ICT order block. That was the thing. ICT and Sam side in the same. So I did a little Sam side investigation. Yes, this Trading Academy is bullshit. They're just like, well, here's MACD. It's the same canned bullshit, right? And they're probably getting sued because people blew up their fucking accounts. So I don't really take that much. And what Sam, his resume is that he worked. Somebody was saying he worked at Chicago and he was order filler, floor runner, and people are looking over his shoulder and watching what he's doing because people want to know, whoa, what's E.F. Hutton doing? What's Smith Barney doing? What's Porter Wagner? All these big firms. What are they doing? And should I mean, if they're buying, well, we're buying. I mean, if J.P. Morgan just bought, we're buying. If Citibank bought, we're buying. And just chase this shit. Now, if you really want to see what that's really about, how bullshit that is that this Ben Lichtenstein or whatever, where the market's crashing, and he's calling out the trades. Well, maybe he's got slow data, but at this phase of the market, on a 5-minute chart, at this phase where we're at, we're all the way back to fair value in the middle of all that bullshit. We went down, we went up, we're stalled in the middle. This is where Citibank's coming in. Okay, who's buying down at the bottom? Not the big boys. Or if they were, they're already filled. Maybe there's some dark pool in Alex Jones' world. That's how he sells tickets to his show, is that this outlandish bullshit he has. Frogs are gay and all that shit. He has to go to court and admit he's an entertainer in divorce court. Honey, I was just kidding. And but yeah, this is quite the shockwave into the system, and all the all the running for the heading for the hills. The volatility is brutal. I mean, markets, euro dollar, to get the euro dollar to move 50 pips would be an act of God sometimes. Some weeks, you know. They move 50 pips in fucking 2 hours, 100 pips in 2 hours. Look at the stock market. Nobody's prepared for that volatility. If you're used to running $1,000 account and risking even 2%, you're going to just get bam, bam, bam. You know, if you don't adjust your trading plan to say, I'm only going to trade a 1K instead of a 10K, so you have to have dynamic sizing to accommodate these insane markets. There's no other way around it. If you don't have a trade plan for that, if you couldn't get into the smash, then maybe it's too late to chase it. Maybe you have to change time frames to, as soon as you change the time frame, that's going to change your trade plan. Because you can't even see the setup on that time frame. There's no way you can see that. You're like, oh yeah, I see the dailies, but wow, that's going to take fuck. There's only like 3 trades a month on the daily chart. And then you're in the no nonsense camp as far as possibly under trading the market. But of course, if you have a bunch of money and you're sitting, you're forced to be at home and you don't care, maybe it's difficult if you're going to watch the market all day, because now you're like, fuck, that setup comes on the 4-hour chart like twice a week. That same setup on the daily chart comes twice a month. And then you can say, well, fuck the 5-minute chart. Like every hour there's a trade. But then the spread's in your way. Once you get to the 5-minute chart, that scheme or that pattern doesn't work, because it becomes over trading when the spread's too wide and the market's too violent. And now it's like, shit, I can only do that trade once a week now. I used to do that trade 10 times a day. I can only do it once a week. That same stop and that same exposure time-wise and the same length of trade. So how are you supposed to make money consistently with that kind of terrain? You know, how can you make it over the mountain? Are you going to go around the mountain, or are you going to go over it? So if you go over the mountain, that's tough. You're going to climb it and go down. If you go around it, I'd say those are the kind of well, is that the longer route going around it? It depends how tall the mountain is. So yeah, all these things are constantly changing. So imagine a mountain that you're in the middle of the mountain, all of a sudden it goes steeper. Out of nowhere it becomes steeper. What do you do now? You're tired from climbing. You've run out of margin. Okay, so you had to say, I'm ready to climb a mountain that may go shorter and I'll fall off a cliff, or it's going to go wider and I'm not going to have enough stability to survive it. Pretty tough, right? Because it's like you're going to go camping. How much are you going to need? Well, we don't know until we get there. Well, that's not good. But if you were to say, I've got 3 different approaches, and if something's coming from the right, something coming from the left, and something's coming from front of me, I've got 3 different survival techniques or ways to, make money in the market, which would be like hunting down. This is the sniper idea, that you're shooting this price level, and you're making money because you just nailed it, that one price level. You got that just right. And that's, you have to have something, right? And if you just had one, if you could only pull the trigger once, so you literally had to risk 2% account, imagine that world. You better be sure about that trade. So the pressure goes up on being right if you're going to start to get very precise on your entry. But if you're going to say, I'm okay rolling with the punches, so to speak. But people say, why would you want to roll with the punches? Can't you just be a martial artist and only just do the most like a movie? And I think people have watched too many movies. They think life's like a movie, like you're going to make every right decision. And I think that's another reason why the media, who's in the people in the movie world, because they're in movies and they act and they think that, well, can't you just be the guy, the hero in the movie? Not really, because if all of a sudden there's a earthquake or on top of what's going on, well, that would actually kind of make people go, you know what, fuck Corona. We got an earthquake here. It's just funny how the whatever is considered to be normal, and that's ever changing too. But I don't think the market's any different. So what used to seem like normal volatility, people are like, you know, it's fucking crazy out there. Like people are saying this, don't do that. You can do this, you can't do that. Like, where did this shit come from? All of a sudden, fucking A. I used to be able to run a 10 pip stop, and there's no fucking way I can do it now. I used to run a 100 pip stop. There's no way I can do it now. And that's when people throw the towel in, because they would say, well, fucking A. I mean, how am I supposed to adjust to it's volatile? Now it's not. There are people that probably made a ton of money when it wasn't volatile, because they go, you know, this is kind of like, it's not going to make a giant move, and especially if you're not trading with stops. So say you were scalping with no stops and everything's going along and you're like, this is really easy. And then the market gets violent and you have no stops, and all of a sudden, well, boom, your whole account's gone. Like, Jesus Christ. But you know, this view of the market on different time frames makes that should be the first consideration, because uh, people say, well, what are you trying to do? Well, I'm trying to make money. And I would say the more work you put into it, the less it's going to cost. So if you build your own tables, your own furniture for your restaurant, isn't that better than ordering out the furniture? Another thing, going back to complaining about Starbucks. So I'm in this one Starbucks, and I got the idea that she redecorated. But who is the dumb fuck that decided to buy metal iron, metal framed chairs with metal glides, I guess they call them, metal feet? And after they bought those, they put in a textured ceramic tile floor. Where's that person? Because what I want to do is strap their fucking head to that chair and drag that chair around that fucking Starbucks till they have no more mid-range frequency left in their fucking, what is it, their timpani, their drum, their sensor in their skull. For the love of Pete, what the fuck were you thinking? And the goobers in Starbucks that are not audio aware are dragging these chairs around, and I'm like, are you doing that just to fuck with me? And it just chatters along the fucking floor. I'd rather have nails on a blackboard. 40 nails on a blackboard. This is like, and then after a while I got used to it. I thought, oh yeah, I'm getting used to the beatings. Then the other Starbucks I go to is all mellow wood floors. I don't know, it's just kind of like, it's like New York. Hard metal, hard floor. Or you go to this place called the Time Hotel in New York. It's probably closed, but you walk in the lobby, there's water on the ceiling, a lucite ceiling with water dripping onto the lucite. Like a Vegas show, Splash. It's like Splash. Okay, we're going to put another buy at the market on the euro. I'm going to ride this thing up. Coming up at the top of the hour. So this is the big Wednesday smashdown. As you come into United States Open, we're going to, this is a reversal, typically day, Wednesday, not every Wednesday. It's very cliche also. The So we have a retest here. So I bought this new low. So I'm building this long position here, anticipating the retracement. I think there'll be a lot of people selling this last known low on a Wix, low on price, but see, it's a range. I cannot. I'm sure this is a Gartley pattern down. I'm sure this is the 618 from here, but I really can't even think like that anymore. I ain't got time for that. Getting out just when I see people go for the fib tool, so I watch this guy, forex hangout guy, or anybody grab the fib tool, and I just would cringe. I'd think, my God, do people cut your hair like that? What fucking barber gets out a fib tool and says, would you like 618 from your ears? Yeah, could you just? I want that like John Travolta fucking thing where he's got this like a vampire. Yeah, this is Wednesday. The week's half over. Look at this British pound on the monthly. These markets are incredible. I just don't think you can have an indicator or a scanner that's going to take advantage of some of these trades here. Not from the. That's really trading at the market. Honestly, the no nonsense guy, what he's doing there is he gets in the trade about 4 o'clock in the morning when S&P 5, when the stocks close and things quiet down, he gets in a trade there. That's his entry point. And to see these poor guys on the Discord talk about, well, I got in at the end of the day and, woke up in the morning and it was like it either stopped me out or those guys put wide stops and everything. They're like, maybe I should get in again. And I'm like, wow, why do you want to follow this no nonsense guy's scheme when you know that if you got in here, like you ever make money and you think, I'm making money, but I'm not doing anything I was told to do. I'm making money, but I'm not following rules. I'm also a big non-fan of rules. So I know they say you have to have rules, but what if you just had like concepts or structures, rules? I mean, if you had rules that were like, okay, I'm going to be aware. These are like those rules. I'm gonna be looking at the 1 hour chart. A 1 hour chart rule. I look at the 1 hour chart. Is that a rule? Or is that just a behavior? I don't know the whole thing about the rule thing. You can't do this. You can't do that. Okay, I get that you shouldn't kill people. Is that a rule? A commandment. How about the 10 Commandment? Mastering the commandments of trading. If you take the commandment word, now that's different because the 10 Commandments, it's not the 10 rules, is it? I suppose it is. They're loaded words, is what I'm saying. All these words people are using to describe the market, the big boys. As soon as people say the big boys, like, well, that make me a little boy. I'm just a retail trader. I'll never be able. Great, stay in your house. I'm out licking doorknobs for you. I'm taking one for the team. And what are you doing? I know there's going to be people that are going to fucking raid the toilet paper rack. That's what's going on right now. So yeah, big washout. This silly news people have been hoaxed into. Sweden's already spiked. Look at Sweden's numbers. You want to know how to fucking trade the fucking corona? Look at Sweden. Yeah, the death rate spiked. Everybody's like, oh, I don't know if that's working. Dude, they're fucking over it. Tear the Band-Aid off, you fucking pussies. I'm so sick of this. Stay in place. Fuck you. You stay in place. Stop getting on TV and talking dumb shit to me. Put you in a fucking. I'm gonna hit mute button. Lock down your fucking jaw, bitch. So, I'll show you lockdown. Okay. We're only up $20 after all that fucking. But we're waiting for the retracement to kick in. We gotta wait. We have to have patience. We're very underwater here. Heavily loaded. No stops. That's a good. That makes money. Hey, we're not getting stopped out of this thing and repaying the commission. That's another thing. You got to repay the spread and the commission. The whole time I was trading without stops, I thought, well, it's fucking great. I must have made about fucking. I must have saved about $1,000 on spread and commission by just holding on to a trade. Let's see if we took any trades here on the. I guess I'm just going to change the. So this bought into the plunge too. This is the plunge on the dollar yen. Now this one I feel like cashing out manually because I can see we made it all the way back to this, the exit. So I could see cashing out of that. That would make sense. I think. Okay. But then, of course, at the end of the day, it might be up here, hunting down the high of this day, and I'd be like, should have held it. Fuck. So I'm gonna let this go. Look at this. Look at this volatility just went berserkoid here. But in a perfect world, you traded your breakout systems here on the 1 hour chart. The breakout bots here, even the 4-hour breakout bot or the 12-hour breakout bot, it bought that breakout. Now that could have been a trap, just like this breakout to the downside was a trap. So multiple schemes running is really going to be the cure for that. You're going to do, if you're going to trade every bar on the 1 hour chart, this would have been your breakout. This is where this system started to just grid into it. And now it's up, the 7K, it's up pretty good. I could also intervene, instead of close all winners on this one, I could just pluck off that 7K, take off the winners when I'm up, and that's totally the way to go if you're trying to build the account. Because I would just say, give me the biggest winner. Let's get this guy out of here. Yeah, let's take this 6K off and close that out manually. Intervening on just portions, that's a different approach too. I don't think it has to be all or nothing, and it's never going to be able to replicate. This is another problem. If you think you're going to build this consistent system, unless you're going to stay at a static growth rate, because you have to be inconsistently making tons of money and consistently losing little bits of money. Like you're going to make a big, giant leap in your account, then you don't even have to hardly trade. You can just trade really lightly after that and think, oh, fuck. It's like barely trading. I'm just kind of trading to be in something here, waiting for something else to fill. But I'm just speaking for myself. I like to be in the market on something. I like to think I have half a brain to take some dumb shit trade. Now this thing's totally underwater, and this needs to go up too, which is not. It's been drifting sideways. The only trade here from the breakout standpoint was, look at this constant nothingness, and then breaks down, falls in this hole. Here comes the buy limit grids. Scalp to the floor. This being the floor here. This last known bottom becomes the top. And to hear this Trading Academy guy talk about, oh fuck, he'd call out the trade here, like here is a bottom become a top, sell here. But then he put Bollinger Bands on there, which means that he just became a non-structured, non-supply and demand guy. If you're putting Bollinger Bands on your chart, then you don't believe that supply and demand needs to be. Why would you do that? It's like when people, I have a friend, my tequila buddy. He takes himself to be a chef because he's Italian. So he's a complete racist. just to let you know, for even for himself. So he's an alcoholic, and one time he's drinking wine, and he said that, hey, I think this is better for me because I'm Italian. I go, yeah, it's alcohol. Maybe there's a little more tannin. There's some antioxidants supposedly in wine, but that's all kind of annihilated by the alcohol. But he's like, oh yeah, can't you see? I'm like, yeah, I see what you're saying there. And so all these kind of assumptions that people make is so cute. He had all these, oh, if you do this, you do that. Okay, looking for the retracement here. Oh, I forgot what I was going to make a point there, but no, he's so cute. And the watching him think about stuff and do stuff. Oh no, his self image, that he's Italian, therefore this and that, and I do think it's true that if you do put on, say if you're a guy, you put on women's clothes, you're probably going to feel like a girl. Same thing if you're going to trade, if you're going to put on a coat and tie and trade, you're probably going to do different kinds of trades, right? You're going to be like, oh, well, I have to be very serious, don't you know who I am? And this is, of course, if you're going to be by yourself a lot and you're going to have, like, talk to yourself a lot. So that's why I can't do the YouTube videos, so it doesn't look so awkward. I talk to myself all day long. Most people talk to themselves in their head, talking out loud. Sometimes I feel like I need to say it out loud, punch a wall. And so being angry and really being impatient is just a lifestyle for me. But I've accepted it. So, and that was another thing, is that you should trade like a robot. Look him up, $10 on this 9K, 9K. So we're making money. We're just gonna wait this out. I'm gonna let this robot trade this whole week. It'll be fine. But I guess that's the most difficult thing, is to be consistent. I don't know if you're going to ever build some scanner rater that's always going to extract X out of the market every time in a nice smooth, because sometimes it's not going to trade at all, and some people think that's winning. Look at it lose. I think we can make about $400 here on this trade. It is like having an assistant. I don't think robots. So you could have a robot that gets, what it does, and you know how to use it to get you in the market, but then you'll take over the steering wheel after that. I think you have to on this one, because I don't see any stops in here trailing, and I did turn them on one of these robots. So I turned on the trailing stop, but I don't know if it ever engaged. But I don't know what the code looks like, and I don't see any stops running. So my biggest loser is down $11. My biggest winner is up, and we have banked something here on the left side, and we have banked $70, but we're down 60. Equities. It's okay. I could see this trade. It's not putting on any more trades, really. It looks like it reached its limit. I guess I could change those settings too. But I think it's all right. It's nothing. It's not. No holy grail. Nothing ever is. So watching a bunch of movies on YouTube, and the casting of the movies. Not a lot of ugly people in these movies, I noticed. So I'm getting a little spoiled as far as how people should look. Watching too many movies. And that is, I think, a big problem there. Psychologically, the people are living, this. People wear clothes when they go out, so people pretend to be people. And some people are just being themselves. And it's better than a movie character, typically. You're like, wow, this guy is he's that guy. And those are the best people. But we kind of want to see those people more often or something, so we invented movies. I don't know, something, I guess, about the storyline and the hero and all that stuff. And Then the most cringe-worthy thing is that I don't want bad stuff to happen, but the do-gooders make me cringe. Like well, I'm gonna donate 400 pips to the Pip Society, and they're struggling now. Everybody's stepping up to the plate to virtue signal. That's good. Not that I'm cynical. I'm not cynical, actually. I'm an optimist, but Jesus, the fraud out there? What the hell? Love this trade here. Now, in a perfect world, we would have bought only here at the market. But I like the idea that by the time we got down here, 9K, if we come to here, I would cash out of this robot and go, you know what? Put on another trade. Or just stop trading. If you get to $500 is your goal, to make $500 a week, and every week, when you get to 500, you get out, whether it's Tuesday or Friday. You're consistently making money. But then your greedy side of your brain's going to go, fuck, we could have got in there and rode that. I know Glenn Beck's saying, why did I tell my wife, let's go down and sell our stocks? So Glenn Beck gets out about here. I have to go find his video, but he might even got out here. This is crazy. And this is when No Nonsense came out with his How to Trade a Bear Market. I thought, wow, thanks for the buy signal. Thanks for the swing trade. Thanks for the reversal. And you could literally have this. This is the daily. This could be a top becoming a bottom. It's pulling back to the top, drifting. Yeah, there's a big hole forming here, so we could definitely crash all the way back to here. You could actually keep going down. But all the people that trade the moving average system, and we all know the rules for that. Rules are rules, people. Once you get above our baseline, we only trade from the long side, so you'd be buying here. This is what No Nonsense is buying here. It's above my baseline, and first pullback above the baseline rule. Rule number, oh God, I hate to go on and on, but it's too much material. It's too much gooberism to really avoid the no nonsense thought process. It's worse than fucking Scientology. Wash your hands for 22 seconds here, buddy. This bullshit about, well, there's the exception rule. There's also the rule that you throw all the rules out, and then there's the one candle rule. There is the rule of volume rule. There is the dollar index volatility VIX index rule. There is the confirmation second rule of volume divided by confirmation to the fifth power of the explanation. Okay. Boy, he knows his shit. And then you got these people in the fucking at the bottom of the screen. Wow, thank you, brother. See you in heaven. Man, you're just a vault of knowledge. Your experience, and bless your heart and your families and all your mice that live in your house. Bless them too. I had to kill a few mice this year. They're cute, but they're noisy, and I've warned them many a time. Shut the fuck up. So I've actually yelled at mice and said, one more squeal out of you, and you're dead. Cream cheese works really good for killing mice. But Mother Nature is unavoidable. It's creeping into our lives here. Waiting for U.S. markets to open. Stabilized here. 109.30 on the euro. All the way back to, I'm actually down $1 on this account. I'm down $1 since I turned it on Sunday night. Not too good. The only time this robot makes money is we need to have a retracement. A grandiose retracement, and then we'll be making money. I think this time frame, the month, I hope it didn't trigger this to. Let me try to get this thing to trade on the British pound. It looks like it got out. So I can force this to overtrade by putting in the 1 minute chart. I get this British pound to look how it bounced off that 100-yard line there. It's a conspiracy. Look at that double touch at the 100-yard line. Pretty amazing. This thing got all frisky. Oof. Once we got above this, so I have to go to the 4-hour chart to see the slot. So anything above this, wow, seller's world. That 100 pip window. Nice counter trend trade. I'm assuming you think this is the trend on the 4-hour. This is the trend on a longer time frame. Which trade do I take? People will buy here for some kind of bounce. Okay, we're making a lunge here. 6:30 in the morning. Waiting for the half-hour traders to update. Yeah. I don't think this robot. So I'm going to force it to trade. I'm going to the 5-minute chart. I think it'll see a trade on the. Well, here's the secret. You need to run multiple robots. You need to put the settings in. Different. Maybe this is the problem. I put this too wide. So I'm going to say, let's go 8. I don't even know what these things do. I don't know if this is the grid or we'll put 16 in. I had no idea what these numbers do. I guess the free version. I'm not paying $300 to find out either. I would just keep changing these settings until I thought, oh, I can see what it's doing. So in the meantime, I'm just going to trade manually. Although this, I guess I can set this to $1 risk. Bar shift. I don't know. Let's do 2 or something. I don't know. I'll make this 3. Hedge, I don't know. I know there's a grid setting. Let's make this 5. Let's see this thing trade its ass off. 5 pip grid on the pound. That should be insane. I just want to see what it's going to do. Let me change this. I don't know if this is going to try to manage the whole account. So I'll make this a different number. Max orders of 100. So this is kind of keeping you from blowing up the account. Chunk stop. No. Profit in pips. Let's just say 10. Like a scalper. I think I turned Martingale on here. Yeah, that's good. Let it rip. Let it rip just like the Swedes did. Rip that band-aid off. It's trading a little bit here on the euro versus the pound. It only put on 1 trade though. I'd say it's under trading. Not really worth too much there. Okay, so it's still waiting for the U.S. markets to open. So a lot of volatility. Today be very volatile. They're going to start to announce the unraveling of the police state. I would have definitely cashed out here on the structured trade here. I would have intervened on top of the robot here. We bought the plunge. We'll scalp something here. And then definitely take the whole thing off here on that giant screaming move. And now come back in with limits, but this thing's still holding out. So it's saving commissions and all that shit. But every day is unique. Every trade has unknown outcome. I suppose that's the fun of trading. You don't know what's going to happen. Big pullback here in the DAX, just like the euro. Look, the sellers came in here perfectly, but just above that wick. They're scalping it down to here. I'd buy all the way down. Just trying to canvas an area for a bounce. I'm sure somebody's got some harebrained Gartley pattern completed up there for them. They're like, yeah, can't you see the Fibonacci here? Dude, I bought here and got out here. What are you talking about? This guy one time was telling me, accusing me of not even, he just, like, that simpleton, he doesn't even know how to use a fib tool. I guess they have a Fibonacci school of Fibonacci, University of Fibonacci. They have Pips University, right? So why would you have a University of Fibonacci? Don't you know what the logarithmic spiral is, son? Let me show you that logarithmic spiral. It's 15-minute charts are updated. So we're getting this no more trades at the market for me unless we go down. So if we go down another 4 hours, I'll buy at the market. And my limits start getting filled down here. So here's going to be kind of drifty now. I don't think there's much volatility left in these markets. Oh, this thing's tanking. That's what's killing me. I wish this would put on another trade though. Settings. Okay. I don't know. It's a lot of work. We have to wait for the retracements too, just like a trend trade. I like this plunge here. Right now, if I was going to trade this currency, I just lay a rack in here and go back to sleep. It's an obvious trade. Okay, we made some money on this. I went back to sleep, market crashed in, and this robot had bought about, it was putting in 19Ks at the bottom here. And it retraced, and it cashed out. I'm looking for the arrows, because that's, you see all these arrows here. Here's the glory of the robot on this one situation. That is all the fills on that. So we made about $500, up 520 there, and I would have cashed out right there also. And I think it lost on some of these, but it made up for it because it martingaled in. And if you look down here at the bottom, that is 19K down there. That's quite the entry. I would never trade a 19K in one ticket, but it did it, and boom, there you go. Down $77 now, holding on to some. So here's how it went. on the history, the recent history. Here's $112 on a 19K with no stop. And apparently when it got to a certain kind of, we paid 95 cents commission on that. I was going to turn that off so you can see the whole thing. And there you go. So martingale in, cashed out. That was our biggest winner, was $110. And that's just Ryan Brown's free bot. I'm just using it to trade, and you know, there you go. It was underwater though. I mean, it was underwater, but it cashed out. So it works. I would change the settings on them, use different settings and stuff like that. I don't know if it's going to do any trades now, but there you go.